Hello, and welcome to this overview of new releases that I read that were published in December of 2023. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot. You're watching Random Olive Reads. Second Duke's the Charm by Kate Bateman is book one of the Her Majesty's Rebel series. How many tropes can you roll into a single book? Well, in this one, we've got a virgin widow, female detectives, a one night stand in disguise, a widow with her late husband's heir, and a marriage of convenience. Tess becomes a widow to her much older husband on her wedding night and then uses her newfound freedom and independence to open an investigative agency with her two best friends. 2 years later, wealthy shipping merchant Justin is identified as the next Duke, and he stops by a scandalous house party on his way to London to claim the title. When he's there, he meets Tess in disguise, and they have a little amorous encounter as strangers, neither realizing that they will soon meet under very different circumstances. When they properly meet at a ball, Justin immediately proposes a marriage of convenience to Tess, since it'll save Justin the trouble of finding a proper wife, and they get to continue their physical relationship. From there, we navigate a relationship where Tess is trying really hard not to fall in love, and Justin is denying the fact that he has a heart. We also have Tess and her friends working on a case in secret in the background. There's a lot of stuff going on in this book, and it'll definitely keep the pages turning. You're the Duke That I Want by Lenora Bell is book one of the Thunderbolt Club series. This book is a super fun Grease retelling, with Sandrine being the sheltered young miss who meets Lord Dane, who is pretending to be Danny, at the seaside. Lord Dane is typically a scoundrel and a rake, but he ends up being kind and sweet and enjoying the simple things when he's at the seaside. He leaves the town unexpectedly, though, when his brother is gravely injured and is concerned that he's going to be the next heir to the dukedom. Sandrine ends up traveling to London to petition a certain duke to restore an old manor house, and is pretty upset to find that Dane has both lied to her and he's related to that scummy duke. With a new set of lady friends, Sandrine gets to experience more of London adventures away from her overly strict mother, while also continuing to run into Dane. There's lots of interesting plot going on here, with Dane dealing with a blackmailer and Sandrine breaking free from her mother's constraints. The Governess and the Duke by Lydia Drake is book two of the Renegade Duke series. Viola is a governess to one duke's rambunctious ward with a long standing crush on that duke's best friend. When traveling with her charge, the teenage girl falls and sprains her ankle, forcing the pair to stay at James's ducal castle. Although James has been hiding away in the country after the embarrassment of a rejected proposal, he finds himself intrigued and attracted to Viola, and wondering why he had never noticed her before, even though they've known each other for like 10 years. Both James and Viola try to fight their attraction to each other at first, being of different social standing, but that doesn't last for too long. Viola's charge and James's sister become fast friends and cause all sorts of trouble, which is super humorous to read. When we find out about Viola's past and the secrets she's been keeping, she is pleasantly surprised by James's reaction. Overall, this was a pretty straightforward social class difference romance, made more interesting by the antics of the teenage ward and sister. Guilty Plea by Caroline Lee is book two of the Guilty Pleasures series. Now, officially, this book came out at the very end of November, but the original publication date was December 1st, so it's part of the December roundup. Anyway, King's Hunter Peyton has taken care of some bandits at an abbey, and the creepy abbot offers him a woman as payment. Somehow he has acquired the frail Flora as his maybe wife and takes her away from the terrible commune where she's been living. She's happy to go with Peyton so that she can search for her brother, who she's been separated from many years. We get to see Flora and Peyton get to know each other and develop a bond, even though both people are terribly insecure about their own appearances. Flora believes that she's plain and ugly, while Peyton's face is badly scarred from a previous assignment. This book is a pretty quick read with lots of humor and steam, along with Peyton's overwhelming, boisterous family and festive holiday cheer. The Duke's Wicked Widow by Caroline Lee is book five of the Surprise Duke series. I always love a good pregnancy inheritance scheme, so this one was a lot of fun. Ellie is at the doorstep of her late husband's bastard cousin, hoping to get herself impregnated and pass the kid off as the next heir. Fox is both insulted and intrigued and ends up complying. While Ellie's motives may seem selfish, she's really just trying to protect her stepdaughter, and she doesn't have any place else to go if her in laws throw her out. There's a lot of back and forth between Ellie and Fox as she tries to get pregnant, and he's keeping secrets about his role as the notorious Duke of Death. However, Fox proves to be kind and caring towards Ellie and her stepdaughter when they need it. We also tie back to the overarching drama of the Surprise Duke series with a traitor and his supposed agents trying to bring him justice. In this book, we start strong with a physical attraction with a slow build towards real affection. And we still get all of the tongue in cheek humor that Caroline Lee's books always deliver. Duke of the Halls by Felicity Niven is a standalone novella, but it's really kind of part of the Bed Me book series. Franny and Kit are total strangers who make eye contact on the mail coach and then part ways at their London destination. Kit is a duke that everyone considers an asshole with no social tact or social skills whatsoever, and he is literally running away from a Christmas house party where his mother hopes he will meet his future Duchess. Franny works as a ladies' companion and is spending the holiday with her cook friend and her younger brother. But she gets to the house where the cook works, and then the woman has to leave to deal with the sick relative, leaving her all alone at this fancy mansion that she's unfamiliar with. Turns out that she is at the house of the man who she met on the mail coach. Somehow, Kit and Franny make a deal to spend Christmas together while Franny teaches him how to properly talk to a potential bride. It's easy and early sparks for these two, despite Kit's awkwardness and overwhelming attraction for Franny. This was a steamy, low angst holiday treat. The Duke Beneath Her Mistletoe by Nikki Pasquarella is book one of the Eatons of Trent series. This book took me a little while to get into the plot, but once we do, it's a lot of adventure. William is a new duke tasked by his cousin to investigate workers' rights, along with the secret writer of political papers that seem to rally the workers. A factory that makes lace is the main target of the worker uprising, so William spends Christmas at the local earl's house to learn more. At the same time, William's friends are gossiping about how that earl's sister, Georgiana, is a spinster who hates men, and then somehow William gets into a drunken bet that he will bed her within a week. On Georgiana's side of the story, she's actually the political writer promoting fair labor for her village friends and causing all this ruckus. And she's uninterested in courtship or marriage. Somehow, when William comes to the castle for the holidays, he is presented as a serious suitor, and she does her best to stay away from him. Since William isn't used to being rejected, he's even more intrigued by her. Meanwhile, all this political unrest is happening in the background, and William starts to side with the workers more than the overseeing aristocrats. And then when he finds out that Georgiana is the secret writer he's been looking for, he jumps to her rescue. And despite William and Georgiana's contentious beginnings, it looks like they start to respect and admire each other along the way. The Duke Bargain by Eve Pendle is a novella that is part of the Dukes versus Doctors series. The new Duke of Medford has pulled financial support from the Women's College, where Lily is an astronomer. She storms into his house on Christmas Eve to request that the funds be reinstated, but Beckett is a gruff, grumpy man who believes that his father's spending was frivolous. They somehow end up in a bargain where she stays the next few days with the Duke, and they enter into a physical affair. This was a short, steamy novella where the two people quickly fall in love and work things out. This Spells Love by Kate Robb is a contemporary romance, which is a standalone novel. Gemma has just been dumped by her longtime boyfriend, and she is drunkenly doing some sort of cleansing ritual with her aunt, sister, and best friend Dax. She wakes up the next day in an alternate reality where she had never met her ex, but then she had also never met her best friend Dax. In trying to get back to her own reality, she needs to redo the ritual at the appropriate moon phase, but will also need Dax's participation. Gemma sets off to befriend Dax in this universe, but realizes that they have romantic feelings for each other instead. It seems she never got the chance to think of Dax as anything but a friend since she quickly fell into a serious relationship with the other guy. This book was funny and sweet and also steamy. It was an easy, relatively low angst, friends to lovers book. Taming the Duke by Barbara Russell is book one of the Victorian Outcast series. There is chaos and tragedy for everyone involved in this book. Maddie is on the cusp of receiving entry into a prestigious art academy, but an accident involving an overzealous botanist leaves her painting ruined and her hand injured and unable to paint. Hector is the brother of a duke who wants acceptance into his own scientific academy and accidentally injured Maddie in an attempt to collect a rare plant. He feels horribly guilty for her injury and only accepts his place on a South American expedition after Maddie's encouragement to leave. Unfortunately, his ship goes down before he even reaches his destination and he's declared dead. 8 years later, Hector is found alive, having survived alone on an island all this time. In this time, his brother and mother had both passed away, and his horrible cousin is now the Duke. Maddie gets involved to assist Hector in regaining his manners and civility in order to gain his title back. The romance here is slow and sweet and low angst while we work through all of the external struggles that Maddie and Hector have. This was action-packed and kept me enthralled the whole way through. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found a book or two to add to your TBR. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.